He's Daniel Onsare Nyagaka. And of course, I know you've read the topic of the day, but I want us to get into deep discussion about this topic, why Moses Kuria. And so many people will speak, so many people will say many things, and so many people will comment on the issue as to why Moses Kuria. But from my analysis and what I've come to see, I don't know, and I stand corrected, is that among the few reasons Moses Kuria may get or may land himself in trouble because of his truth. Now mnasikianga Gachagua anajipiga kifua anasema that he is the truthful man, but I believe from what I know and from what I've seen in the past few months since the Kenya Kwisha or the Kenya Kwanza government came in place, is that Moses Kuria and his comments sometimes zinakuanga za ukweli na zinakuanga zinadunga sana. You know, today, yesterday, Moses Kuria gave spoke or wrote something on his social media that, you know, people are being misled. Yeah? People are being misled, and they are being used to manipulate or to fight someone who doesn't need to be fought as a governor. I'm talking about Kawira Mwangaza. And of course, that thing, because it was direct to the senators, the senators didn't take it well. And of course, ukiangalia from all these things, Moses Kuria went on and mentioned names. And you know, it's so rare for Kenyans to mention names. And these Kenyan politicians and leaders, sometimes they fear. One thing they fear so much is pointing fingers or saying that this is the person who did A, B, C, D. And now Moses Kuria went on and mentioned the names of on his Twitter account 18 hours ago, because I'm seeing it, I'm reacting it now. Is that Moses Kuria mentioned number 1, Aaron Cheruiyot, Jackson Mandago, Segei Mundigi, Senator Manson, Seki, Senator Fatuma, Senator Abdul Haji, Senator Kamer Murango, Senator Wahome, Senator Thuri, Wambua, and of course Senator Kajwang. You know, it's been a heated discussion today on the Senate, because the senators decided to ask for time to be able to discuss the CS rather, CS mwenye anajaribu kuwa let down. Yes, and the discussion has been, you know, yani imekuwa noma sana, and because I'm going to share at the end of this video the kind of comments that were made by the senators. But Senator Sifuna spoke, Senator Kajwang spoke, Senator Wambura spoke, Senator Kamau Murango spoke, and they were speaking out of pain. Cherargei, the Kericho Senator Aaron, aliongea so passionately, you can feel the pain. He says that he feels so disappointed until anaonea mdosi wake huruma ambaye ni the president of the nation, William Ruto, because of choosing to kama CS Moses Kuria. And so many people have been commenting pale kwa comment section. But aside from that, what is my thinking? Now, Moses Kuria is going to get himself in trouble because of one thing. Because he writes things on social media, and that thing has made so much enemies. Has wind him so many enemies on social media, because if you look at it well, amekuwa akiattack these leaders very sana. Like amekuwa akiattack leaders. Yeye haogopi. Ukisikia truthful man, kijana wa maumau yeye ndiye anastahili kwa kijana wa maumau. From what he normally writes, because ukiangalia amekuwa akiattack MPs on his Twitter account, because Twitter yake inakuanga on fire kila siku. One thing I love to commend the mama kusema, kikazi, from what I normally see, he is so perfect, but akona a very loose mouth, ama a very loose, I don't know, yani yeye na timu yake ya Twitter wanarobokwa tu, they just speak. But among the reasons I think that are going to make him lose his seat ama as a Senate, as a CS, ni hiyo tu mambo ya social media, because social media speaks a lot, and when you go on Twitter and write some things that are offending people that can get you out of the seat where you are, man, you need to watch yourself. I'll see you, because it's not going to be easier. So when he mentioned yesterday from his Twitter, when he mentioned all these names, there's something he wrote down there. Stop it, with capital letters. He wrote it, stop it. You can see from evidence you are being misled. That the evidence that have been given from the proceeding that was happening yesterday, from the impeachment started yesterday and now going on through today. He was telling the senators that those that have mentioned names, ninawaona sana. You are part of the people who wants to lead the impeachment of this governor who is Kuria Mwangaza from Meru. And now, from all these things, Pia, what I can say is that CS Moses Kuria has been supporting so much the governor, because ukiangalia the kind of comments amekuwa akimake. There was a comment ali make the other day wakiwa kwa launch ya kitabu ya who is this? There's a comment, I'm putting it at the end of this video also. There's a comment that he made, akasema it's so sad that when him seeing women leaders wakipigwa vita, more so watu wa mlima, na akasema is it that the people of the mountain sisi ndio wezi peke yetu ama ni nini? That was his worry, that was his question. Like, we the people of the mountain have done 9 impeachments so far. 9 impeachments. Eti anasema it's high time that other regions zichukue hii kitu wafanye cost sharing, because we are in a country ama tuko kwa a democratic world where tunastahili kushare hizi vitu. So other countries should also do the impeachments, isikuwe tu ni watu wa mlima. And one thing that stands out for me is that Moses Kuria and the support for Governor Kuria Mwangaza is so high. And I think among the reasons why Moses Kuria was changed from his seat ile yenye alikuwa last time was because the last thing alifanya ni the last assignment alifanya before abadilishwe was in Meru, and he forced himself. That was the time MCS were really pushing the impeachment in Meru. And now wakati alikuwa anaambiwa na kina Kiture and others that you should not be going to Meru because there is a crisis there, he said, I have to go there and work for the people of Meru. I'm not going to work for the leaders of Meru. I'm going to work for the people of Meru. And after kufanya hiyo assignment, a day later we saw him being moved to a different docket as a CS. Now the question is this thing of Kuria Mwangaza political? Is it political? That's why we can see Moses Kuria throwing tantrums up left and center. Ama, is it something that Kuria Mwangaza did that offended the people of Meru? What do you think as you've watched this video? And of course, drop your comment hapo hivyo kwa comment section. Let's continue learning and educating one another, because hizi vitu ni vile tunaziona. But again, I want to remind you what I normally say. nothing in politics happen without a reason. Politics is politics. It is a dirty game, and of course people play smart, and those who are smart outsmart the others. And now, in this case of Moses Kuria, is Moses Kuria being sabotaged because he's supporting Kawira Mwangaza? Is Moses Kuria being fought because he has a loose mouth, the way they are saying? Or is Moses Kuria being fought because hafanyi kazi? What is your take? Thank you so much for watching, and of course kuna videos naweka hapo zinakuja so you can watch what the senators said and also what Moses Kuria said the other day. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to support us. This is Daniel Onsare Nyagaka, and of course tumerudi na ubaya. Thank you so much, hadi wakati mwingine, peace.
But let me also say that we don't come from the trees, we come from somewhere. And I understand from what has been said here that Ambassador Mudaura was also the patron of the Meru Economic and Social Council. That for me gives me a lot of pride, because we all come from somewhere and we cannot forget where we come from. Ambassador, I want to ask you to spare some time also and look with an eye of sympathy to what is happening to the great county of Meru. All is not well. I have counted that since the advent of devolution, Mount Kenya region, and that includes Nairobi because half of the voters in Nairobi are from Mount Kenya region, our county assemblies have impeached governors 9 times. 2 of them in Meru, 2 Wambora from Embu 2 times, Kiambu, Muranga, Kirinyaga. And I'm saying maybe it's about time, in the spirit of inclusivity, we let other regions also impeach their governments. Why only us? Why only Mount Kenya region? Is it only us who have got leaves? Yeah? And you know, these things that we do, we form the stereotypes that inform on other people. So I hope that wise counsel will prevail. We are only 1 year since we went to elections. There is not even one audit report from the Auditor General that is out. And more so, for me, impeaching a woman who has gone to election and won makes me very sad, because I know that is difficult. So I know you are still the president of Meru. You are rejected #1. You can do something about it. Please help the great county of Meru to reconcile, put those leaders together, ask for our help if you need. You are our leader, you are our inspiration, you are our hope, and we respect you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, sorry to disrupt proceedings, but at the rise of the House yesterday, you gave a very important communication, something which I strongly feel goes to the heart of the exercise that you are carrying out the last 2 days, a very important exercise that this House is undergoing. And you gave a very important communication on conduct and becoming on the part of certain people I'd refer to as state officers. So I wanted to request, Mr. Speaker, that we beg your indulgence, you allow us at least a few minutes to react to that communication, because there are senators here who have been mentioned, and of course people are wondering whether there are other forces that are guiding us as we undergo this business. Therefore, it will be unfair. I felt that yesterday might have been the time to speak to it, Mr. Speaker, but given that it was very late at night, going almost to 1 a.m. in the morning, I wanted to request if you could allow us, Mr. Speaker, to register our dissatisfaction, particularly those that have been mentioned, and us as a House.
Very well, Majority Leader. You will allow the clerk to read the first order, and then I will allow just 3 senators from each side speaking for 2 minutes each. And then we go straight to the business of the day. Clerk, proceed, please.
Order number 1, communication from the chair.
I will allow comments on the communication that I did at the rise of the House last night. And I'll take 3 senators from each side, each speaking for 2 minutes. The majority leader, kindly take the floor.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Senate, I want to register my disappointment in the increasingly unbecoming conduct of Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria, a man who's continually embarrassing the appointing authority and casting serious doubts on the choice ability of none other than His Excellency, the President. Mr. Speaker, sir, that tweet was in bad taste. It paints senators as cheap people who have no cognitive abilities to make interpretation of the matters that are before us and make a sober decision that is in the interest of the Constitution and the people of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, this is the 14th impeachment hearing that the Senate is hearing, and I've had opportunity to vote in almost all of them. I take great exception in the conduct of Moses Kuria, in the tweet that he sent out, and the things that he said about this House and the colleagues that he's listed. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I now agree with members of this House who have brought censure motion before to discuss the conduct of this particular minister, because at every given opportunity, he has done nothing other than embarrass the appointing authority. In fact, it is my submission, Mr. Speaker, that the earlier CS Moses Kuria is let off his duty, the better for this administration, Mr. Speaker. Because every single day, in every action that he undertakes, he continues to embarrass the president and the people. No wonder the people of Kiambu resoundingly rejected his bid to be their governor, Mr. Speaker. It's because of this kind of habit, the kind of things that he says, how he goes about his duties, Mr. Speaker, and overall, his conduct as a human being. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, let Mr. Kuria know, wherever he is, that senators cannot be intimidated, that the kind of monkey business he's trying to introduce cannot be allowed to stand, Mr. Speaker, because this is a distraction.
Senator Kojong.
Mr. Speaker, first allow me to congratulate you for your resilience. The communication being referred to was made at exactly midnight, and that is a sign of the commitment of this House. Mr. Speaker, you are a bit lenient in your communication. I don't think that such conduct should just be reprimanded and left at that. Mr. Speaker, I want to urge you that this particular cabinet secretary who uses social media to disparage the House, to refer to matters before the House, to speak of the House in a manner that is extremely demeaning, that this particular person be summoned to appear before the House and to be summoned to substantiate those claims that he has made. Because, Mr. Speaker, those kind of utterances have got the effect of belittling this House and taking away any credibility this House would have in future impeachment. Mr. Speaker, the many impeachments that we have processed in this House, if the conduct of CS Moses Kuria was to be considered, his conduct falls within the threshold of impeachment. If he was a governor, and if he was brought to this House, he would definitely be impeached. And Mr. Speaker, I want to urge the members of the other House, because they're the ones who have the responsibility of censuring and sending home cabinet secretaries, to take serious judicial notice of the conduct of this particular cabinet secretary, and this House, through the relevant committee, can come up with resolutions that can then be used to move the other House to discuss his conduct and to have him censured. And I hope that Senator Cheriot, because you've got the ear of the president who's the appointing authority, let us not just complain in this House. Go and tell the boss that this guy is an embarrassment, not just to the government, but to the Republic of Kenya. He is an embarrassment to the entire East Africa. The deals he has done has made Kenya look like a pariah when it comes to issues of supply chain of oil and edible oil. Mr. Speaker, this man must go. We must pronounce ourselves.
Senator Kathuri.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity also to give my comment on this irritating behavior of the CS for public service. Honorable Speaker, the process going on in this House is very, very important for the people of Meru who I represent in this House, Mr. Speaker. And when I see as just a log CS gets out there to make some very funny comments on social media, it is very, very embarrassing, and he is not serving, or whatever he is doing is not for the best interests of the Meru people. And I want to warn him that they should keep off Meru affairs. Let them concentrate with the work that he has been given by the president. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, I will request actually on this matter, the other majority leader on the other house to actually start processing an impeachment motion to this CS. And Honorable Speaker, on this matter, as Honorable Kajanga has put it, after this process is done, I would request that Moses Kuria is called back to this house, is brought before us so that we can discipline him. Otherwise, he is an embarrassment to the people who voted for the Kenya Kwanza government. And he should be relieved of his duties immediately. So the president should take notice what this house has, the comments you are giving us this house, Mr. Speaker. And I want from now henceforth, let Moses Kuria give us peace as a Meru community. We don't want his support. We know what we want, and we know what the best we can do, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Sifuna.
Mr. Speaker, I am happy that we have come full circle, because this is something that I have said on many stages, that in fact Moses Kuria is an incorrigible national shame. Mr. Speaker, one of the things that I ask myself is just how much embarrassment does the president have capacity to endure? And I can assure you that if nothing is done about Moses Kuria, there is more embarrassment coming. That one I can guarantee. Mr. Speaker, what is most hurtful is that even after your communication, the CS who ordinarily should be asleep thinking about how he's going to make the lives of Kenyans better had the audacity to fire off another tweet on material that was presented before this House. Mr. Speaker, what I want us to do, honestly speaking, action must be taken. I am actually made aware by the members of this House who represent us in the PSC that Moses Kuria ran away with money belonging to Parliament. He should actually be brought to answer questions about those things and removed from his position, because for me, really, there's nothing that brings me greater joy than being proven right about the things that I've said about this administration. And I just want the majority leader, please, about this administration, because as you have said yourself, it casts very serious doubt on the capacity of the appointing authority. How much embarrassment can the president take? It's just one man, Mr. Speaker. So what we want to do, as they said, there's a famous poem by Martin Niemöller. First, he came for the media. And when I brought a motion of censure for the media, some of you are saying, oh, Sifuna is in the habit of attacking this government. Now he has come for the Senate. Do something. Do something about this national shame, because it will continue unabated. That is who Moses Kuria is. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Wamatinga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. I also like to weigh on this important matter. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is time that we as a country would stand up and be counted with one voice and tell the president that he should not be held hostage by some of these log ministers he has appointed to the government. Mr. Speaker, sir, at this time when Kenyans are suffering from high cost of living, the least that we need are these ministers who cannot even pronounce them to the policy direction, but instead they take it to the tweet and the media to actually abuse and belittle this House. Mr. Speaker, sir, I do join ranks with my colleagues. It is the high time we tell the president he must put the House in order. Some of these cabinet secretaries, Mr. Speaker, they are a big shame to the nation. The only thing that they can do, Mr. Speaker, when we complain of high cost of living, they tell us to go and dig our wells to produce our oil. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is unacceptable. And I would want to put it in no unmistakable terms. Central region is no shortage of intelligent people who are capable of learning the docket that Kuria is learning, and he should be shown the door as early as today, Mr. Speaker. we have the power, Mr. Speaker, to tell the President that indeed such a CS like Moses Kuria should be fired, if not yesterday, today in the morning, Mr. Speaker. It is a great shame to this House and to the nation indeed that someone at the middle of the night, instead of addressing the pertinent issues that are confronting Kenyans, he would take with a cup of, Mr. Speaker, sir, he should be fired.
Senator Onyonka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute on this important matter. Mr. Speaker, I just want to generalize my comments because there's an observation I have made. Many of our leaders want to destroy institutions who have a responsibility of making sure that our country runs properly. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Moses Kuria is somebody I've been in Parliament with for many years, including yourself. To a large extent, we have found him extremely intelligent and somebody who made sense. To some extent, he makes himself look such a foolish man, you wonder whether he even ever stepped into a parliamentary house. And yet, sometimes Moses doesn't understand that what he says means a lot to Kenyans. And indeed, our words have consequences. I would really want to plead with him and many other leaders to realize that these houses, the National Assembly and the Senate, are not just talking shops. This is a place where we discuss national policy. This is a place where we influence public opinion. And this is a place where it is assumed that we'll be providing direction on where our country is going. I really would like, Mr. Speaker, to plead with anybody who knows Moses like I do and many others. We talk to him and tell him that he has to up his game. At this rate, all of us are going to become his enemy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, honorable senators, we've done 3 senators each from each side. Now, honorable senators, this cannot be a house of lamentations. This is a house of action. Pursuant to the point of order that has been raised by the majority leader, I implore upon you, honorable senators, to use or to take full advantage of the standing orders to bring sanity to some of these CSs. You have the power under the law, more particularly under standing orders, to deal with the kind of behavior that you're complaining about. So, honorable senators, if you feel indeed that the behavior of the CS is unbecoming, then invoke the relevant standing orders. If you listen to Senator Kajwang carefully, you may not be able to have that latitude to make a final resolution to send the Honorable CS home. But your recommendation to the other house will have a lot of weight. So kindly take full advantage of our standing orders and stamp your authority. Clerk, call the next order.
Order number 2, hearing and determination of the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County.
Now, honorable senators and the parties to this matter, we concluded the case of the County Assembly yesterday. Today, we're going to begin